9, Kemp has launched a new investigation of a North Georgia sheriff who was suspended after an Atlanta News First investigation.
Our chief investigator, Brendan Keefe, uncovered the body camera videos that led to indictments against the sheriff of Towns County in the North Georgia mountains. And Brendan joins us now. And this new investigation is also for alleged misconduct in office as well, Brendan.
That's right, Joe and Carly. Here's the executive order Governor Kemp signed over the weekend. That's typically not happening. It's unusual. The governor says he learned about new allegations of misconduct against Towns County Sheriff Kenneth Henderson on Friday, allegations that are, quote, separate and distinct from the criminal investigation that we uncovered. Sheriff Henderson is awaiting trial for this altercation at a scene where a deputy had been shot in December 2024. Atlanta News First Investigates obtained 4 body camera recordings that are still not public record tonight because of 2 open criminal prosecutions. The sheriff can be seen physically confronting a Hiawassee police officer who he also arrested.
Hey, don't touch me. You listen. Don't touch me. Shut the You doing? What are you doing? You're the one. What are you doing? What are you doing? You stupid son of a.
And the day after we published these recordings, the Georgia Sheriff's Association sent a letter to the governor with a link to our story asking him to consider suspending Henderson from office, which he did. A special prosecutor was appointed within days, leading to the indictments the sheriff now faces. Governor Kemp's new executive order appoints Attorney General Chris Carr and the sheriffs of Coweta and Newton counties to issue a report on these new allegations of misconduct within 30 days. Atlanta News First Investigates broke this story and will bring you new developments as they happen.
Brendan, thank you for the update.